Well, it wouldn't be an episode of Not From Boston without some technical issues. This week, for whatever reason, our recorded sound files were corrupted and unusable. The only audio we had was from the camera, which is imperfect, and we once again apologize for that. This is both of our first attempts ever at making a podcast with the show, and we are still learning, and with that comes some missteps, and we're figuring them out, and we appreciate you kind of rolling with us. That said, we still had a great episode, still had a great conversation about the Sox this week, and we hope you enjoy.
What's up? Welcome back to Not From Boston. I'm Harry.
I'm Bennett.
I'm glad you went on.
I caught it.
Yeah. And we got a busy week, and we have a third co-host. This is Fleur.
She's jumping on with us today. She's got a lot to say about the White Sox series.
Yeah. She's also got some stuff to say about the Tigers, too.
Yeah, true.
But before we get started talking about the Sox, Harry, you got new music out.
I do have new music
Yes.
out. My first release in I don't know, 9 months. I think I released my last song in August. So my buddy Stevie and I, he's a rapper, really amazing songwriter. He hit me up last year. He's been releasing tons of music and has been doing different projects with different singers and artists, and he hit me up to do some songs with him, and we really like this one. It's called Beggin'. It's a gospel song. It's a spiritual inspired song, but it's really pretty uplifting. I'm really happy with it. It's the first time I've released music in a while, I said, and it's weird to flex that muscle again and just be okay, I'm doing the thing, you know?
That's super cool, though. You got any more music coming out in the future?
So I have another song that I'm on with Stevie. His name is Call Me Stevie Ray, R-A-Y at the end, all one word. So in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, he's putting out an EP that I'm on, that I'll be singing on, and I helped him write and produce it. So that's cool. And then I have a bunch of other stuff that is in the works that I've been working on for the last year or two, and I'm just getting the money together to put it out, because it's if you want to put it out, it's expensive as shit. So
where does the money go? Just
advertising. Okay. I would say that's the big one. If you put out a song and you don't really advertise it, it just isn't going to go anywhere. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can if you're lucky, but I typically try to, have Facebook and Instagram ads. I'm super yawny today. I haven't had a second coffee. Honestly, my Postmates a coffee here, literally.
This is what I get for not having cold brew on hand.
Yeah.
I normally do.
I'm cooked.
We're at my place today, and I was this was a last minute thing, and I was, before you got here, scrambling to clean this place up.
Yeah, looks good.
Yeah, thank you. This couch has been, I don't know if they can tell on camera, but this couch has been ripped to shit by
the cat.
This little monster.
But yeah, I'd say the money goes mostly to advertising, and then also paying my producer's name is Rocky, so to pay him to mix and master the song. We're sitting on 4 songs that are 70% done.
Gotcha.
And to get to that final 30%, I want to be able to pay everybody properly, just 'cause it's fair.
Yeah.
So
that's cool.
That's where we're at right now.
All right. Well, congrats.
Thanks, man.
All right. Let's jump into the show. First, we're just going to do a quick run through, a weekly catch up.
Mm-hmm.
What has happened since our last show? The Red Sox took 3 out of 4 from the Chicago White Sox.
Should have been a sweep.
Should have been a sweep. The Red Sox won the first game 10-3. Hunter Dobbins came back up. 6 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, 6 Ks. Trevor Story hit 2 3-run home runs.
Cooking.
Red Sox won the next day 2-4-3. Garrett Crochet, 6 innings, 4 hits, no runs, 7 strikeouts. Greg Weissert blew that one wide open, tied it up with giving up a 3-run home run. Devers hit a 3-run home run, and then Tristan Casas walked it off with a single off the monster.
Love it.
Red Sox blew the third game 8-4. Tanner Houck, 6 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, 7 Ks. And then Zach Kelly, 3 runs after hitting 2 batters. Liam Hendricks, in his first game back since 2023, threw one right down the middle.
He got pummeled.
Got launched over the monster by Luis Robert.
Got lit up.
And then the Red Sox won on Patriots Day, first time I think in 2 years?
3. Yeah.
Walker Buehler, 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 run, 9 strikeouts.
Yeah.
Trevor Story, 3 for 4. Rob Refsnyder with a home run. Willie Abreu, cooling off a little bit. 0 for 3 with
he had a good day yesterday,
a walk at 3 Ks.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's yesterday, the Red Sox won 8-3 against the Seattle Mariners because Brian Bayo is back. He got 5 innings, 4 hits, a run, 3 walks, and 3 Ks. A lot of walks. The Red Sox walked 6 times, the Mariners walked 7.
Yeah.
Bregman was 2 for 5 with 3 RBI, and Abreu was 3 for 4 with a run and a walk.
And Casas with the homer.
The Red Sox are currently 14-11. They're half a game behind the Yankees for the AL East.
Yeah, so a lot of good stuff in there. I mean, obviously last week we came here like, damn, we just blew the series to Chicago, so it's good to get one back. We really should have swept.
Really should have. That was
really disappointing. The bullpen is something we're going to discuss, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's been unfortunate. I need to hold the mic closer to my face. Yeah, the bullpen's been definitely not great. The hitting has really picked up. The offense has picked up a ton. Trevor Story is like vintage, like Colorado Rockies prime Trevor Story right now.
Yeah.
Casas obviously has a couple big hits, but he's been struggling a lot, which I think is something we're going to discuss at length. I mean,
yeah. I mean, I think this offense is excellent when they're here.
Right.
You know, sometimes I feel like there have been games where they're just a little sleepy, especially earlier in the season, where they're not really engaged, striking out a lot. But they've been, I think, better, especially in the last 4 or 5 games.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked, and I wrote this all out in the outline because I got crazy about it. I'm really impressed with Christian Campbell and how mature him and Carlos Narvaez, both rookies, and we'll get to him later. But Campbell has come to the big leagues with a maturity that you wouldn't expect from a 22-year-old rookie. And like when you look at his at bats, you kind of see that at play. You know, this was his 3rd inning at bat on Sunday. He started with a called strike curveball that was down and in. Then there was a slider ball down and away, and then a 4-seam up and away. It was 2-1, and then another ball, also a 4-seam fastball up and away. So it was 3-1, and then 3-2, another fastball. This time a called strike, kind of in the middle of the zone. And then he's sitting on that slider because the next pitch is a slider down and in, and he just mashes it into the alley. He's just waiting for his pitch, and he's working. And even if he gets tied up in that count, like a 3-2, he's not panicking.
Yeah.
He's just picking his spots, and he
seems very confident. He reminds me a lot of the early years of Xander Bogaerts.
Yeah.
Like his swing is very similar. His setup at the plate is very similar.
I think that's a better comparison than Mookie. I feel like he's been getting a lot of Mookie.
No, I think he reminds me of 2013 Xander Bogaerts.
Yeah.
That World Series year, he was really, really aggressive on his pitch, and he was really good at finding his pitch and seeking. I mean, that people forget that postseason run in 2013. I think Bogaerts had like 10 or 15 hits. He was just slapping doubles everywhere.
He was one of those. I feel like every World Series winning team has like a rookie who just like comes out of nowhere and kind of steals the spotlight, and that was definitely him that year.
Dominant.
I'm loving what Campbell's doing. I was also gonna say Trevor Story is. I think we've been talking for years, and I really hope I'm knocking on the wood table here that I'm not jinxing it. We've been talking for years about how, this year we'll get a healthy Trevor Story, and he's gonna go off, and we haven't gotten it.
Yeah.
And this year, so far,
we're there. I mean,
and oh my god.
Yeah, it's exciting. It makes a huge difference. I mean, he's hitting 5th in the lineup.
Yeah.
The middle of the order. I was looking at the stats, and I'll pull them up right now. But I always love day to day checking the numbers. And the middle 5, Devers, I think, is like because his start was so bad.
Yeah.
The numbers are skewed.
He's still playing catch up.
But he's been hitting better. I mean, there's some stuff I want to talk about with him, but he's been hitting better. So we'll include him as of post week 2 of the season.
Yeah.
Devers,
Abreu is.
Yeah, Abreu. Well, who's hitting 3rd? Bregman. So Devers, Bregman, Abreu, Story, and Campbell are, again, Devers excluding the first couple weeks, are all hitting above 250 with an OPS over 800.
Yeah.
So that's a crazy middle of the order. That is, no one in baseball wants to face that.
With Story and with Bregman in particular, this is what we paid them for.
Yeah,
this is what they got the big contracts for. Is
Bregman still leading the majors in hits? He was at one point.
I don't know, but of course, all of this excitement of Story's going off, Bregman's going off, has solicited some chatter in different corners of Red Sox Nation about whether or not Trevor Story will opt out after this year because he's in his contract, or whether Bregman will opt out, and what's the likelihood of that? What are we going to do? Can we just can we just enjoy having
I know.
a good lineup
It never
for like
happens.
5 fucking seconds? My God.
I also don't think either of them will opt out. I still don't see Bregman getting better than $40 million a year.
Yeah.
He might get a longer term deal.
He might not be looking for $40 million a year, but he would be looking for that $80 million.
Right.
And like the thing about getting that $80 million is that no team. I don't. Actually, I stand by that. I don't think any other team is going to offer up that much money in a 3-year window or a 4-year window for a guy who will be 32 going into his 34, 35-year season at the end of that contract. Like it's a risk. I think what's going to happen with Bregman, and I think the Section 10 guys floated this as well, and I really like the idea. I think we get a Matt Chapman situation.
Okay.
I think Breslow comes to him later in the season and says, "Look, let's lock your contract down. Let's finish in Boston."
That's what I was gonna say. I think they're gonna find a way to keep him.
He's so good for the clubhouse. He's so good for the team.
Story's not gonna opt out too. I don't think one good year is not gonna make up for a lot of injuries. He is our hits leader now. Story. He's 30 hits and Bregman is 29.
I mean, I think. Yes, it is convenient for both of them to move on to make room for the prospects.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if the attitude is win now, and these are the pieces that are helping us do that, then that's the priority over the rookies. Which I'm clear. Let's not trade Roman Anthony or Marcelo Meyer, but we're gonna have to figure out how to make that work because if these two want to stay, that's a good thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Bregman is more. I would think it's more crucial to keep him. He's built for Fenway. The doubles he hit yesterday were literally like the classic Fenway doubles, like plugging the gap off the monster. It's like he's just built to play there. And he hit super well in Houston because it's a similar ballpark, short, high, fence, and left. It's his type of swing.
Also, speaking of Alex Bregman, last week we were congratulating him on having a son, and then after the pod I found out he named him Bennett.
There you go.
That's awesome.
Shouts out.
Yeah, I don't know. That's
pretty cool.
I think that's pretty cool.
What do you think about, now that we've talked about the guys who are hot?
Yeah.
What's the deal with Tristan Casas?
Oh, buddy.
Because he has some big moments.
Yeah.
He had the walk-off, which was hit well. He had the home run yesterday to dead center, which was like big boy territory.
Yeah.
But he's striking out a lot. I mean, he's not even putting the ball in play.
He's striking out. I looked at a few of his at bats from the weekend, and I looked at his 5th inning at bat from the same game as Campbell's that I mentioned earlier, and it's he works that count to 2-2, and then he misses on a slider that comes down the middle.
It feels like there's like a hole in his bat.
Yeah, and I think I don't know. I mean, obviously, it's, I think, a mental thing.
It is.
His mechanics are fine, but this is clearly a mental thing. I don't know how we deal with that because I don't think the solution is necessarily let's just dump him.
Yeah, I actually don't think he should be benched at all.
I think that less playing time is only gonna continue to be this way. At the same time, you see what Tony Mass said? Roman Anthony should play first.
Nah, selling that, no way.
Yeah, I think first of all,
dude, you can't just bench a guy because he's having a bad month. It's been 1 month. That's so insane. That's classic overreacting media nonsense,
Yeah, I mean, I think Tony Mass is being clickbaity, but also I just think it's really funny. It's oh, you want him to play first? Okay.
Yeah.
We'll just plug him into first. This is fucking MLB The Show.
Play baseball, right?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, this is guys that say shit like that never played baseball. He probably didn't even play in his high school team.
It's not a video game. You can't just pick up first. It's like that. Literally, that scene from Moneyball.
Yeah, he says it's not that hard, right? He goes, it's very, very hard. Yeah. No, I played first base, dude. It's not easy. Well, I mean, I just saw Josh Naylor. Mm-hmm. Really good defensive first baseman. Really good defensive first. I was watching the Diamondbacks maybe on the weekend. Crazy pick on the back side of the bat. Kept his toe at the end of the bat. Literally saved a double play. If that ball gets by him, it's 2 runs and then lose the game. So you can't just stick some random Joe over there. You know? Romy Gonzalez is the guy that they would stick over there if they wanted to get somebody else. But I think,
and Romy Gonzalez is doing pretty well.
Dude, he's been good over there.
I think it would take more time for Yoshida than he has in the recovery period.
So here's the thing. I dug out some really good quotes from Casas this past weekend. Mm-hmm. He had a great interview with what's the guy's name, Jemai Webster.
Oh yeah,
the Ed Nesson guy.
Yeah.
and he said something along. I wish I'd written it down. He said something along the lines of, "I know I'm really, really good, and I know I'm really capable. If you get mad at somebody for having a bad month, in 6 at bats, I can literally turn my whole season around."
Yeah.
And I love that. He is so. I mean, watching the documentary, like the scene where he's swinging, and he's like, "You have the best swing in baseball." Like he's very like positive thinking. Like
Yeah.
I really like him, and I really like that approach. He's gonna. I have a lot of confidence that he's gonna turn it around. Like I really like. He was like, "Give me 6 at bats, and I can turn my whole season around." Like if you go 6 for 6, if you have 2 games where you're 3 for 3 and you draw 2 walks, like suddenly people are like, "He's back," you know?
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I really liked his quotes, and he's just seems like he's not down on himself. He literally just like, "Yep," like kind of what you said. He's like, "I know it's not a mechanical thing." Like I have a lot of confidence that he'll figure it out. And as we saw yesterday, it takes one. Bro, if he hits 3 of those every week, he's worth it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I don't need him to be Luis Ariz and be on base every other at bat.
Yeah. I think there are a couple of things happening here, and I think I'm going to describe 2 things that I think speak to why Casas is in this situation, and then what he needs to do to kind of get what I think he might need to do to get out of it, because what do I know? I think the rhetoric, the narrative from Red Sox Nation has been Tristan Casas is going to come back from injury from last year. He's going to go off.
Right.
He's going to be so good that we don't spend $500 million to sign Vladdy Jr. Obviously, that didn't work out anyway.
Or Alonso or any of those guys.
So like there is that narrative, and I think I wouldn't be surprised if he thought that for himself, which I mean also kind of that's what you would think. You got to get yourself kind of when you miss 90 games and you come back for the next season, you got to motivate yourself. I'm gonna show everybody that the last season was last season, and I'm gonna explode. And I think that is where the mental game of it kind of comes from, because that's a lot of pressure that he's putting on himself and that we put on him. I think the thing that in my mind will make Tristan Casas sink or swim as whether he's like, a good everyday ball player or if he is an all-star who gets a mega deal, is that as committed as he is to his approach and his method of playing the game, how willing and able is he to challenge himself and do something different when he needs to. I think right now I feel like what we're seeing is him being a little resistant to trying something else.
Yeah, could be. I mean, I would like to see him. I like the walk-off because he hit it the other way.
Yeah.
But it's also easier said than done in Major League, against Major League pitching. Like, just hit it the other way. Like these guys are throwing 97.
Yeah. Well, he's always been so confident in his zone and knowing the strike zone and in working counts. And I think pitchers have figured that out.
Sure.
And I know that Cora has told him, and everyone's talking about, you need to change your approach. You need to be more aggressive at the beginning. And I think he's been trying that a little less successfully because I don't know. I mean, again, I don't know Tristan Casas. I can't I'm purely speculating based on what it could be. If I were in his shoes, I think if I'm trying to do what everyone else wants, which is to be more aggressive, but I'm not fully committed to being aggressive at the plate, then I'm not going to get better. I think what's missing for him is, again, and I'm speaking of this as if I were Tristan Casas, I don't actually know, is just he needs to embrace this new approach and then commit to it the way he commits to because the way he commits to playing baseball is awesome.
Yeah.
And it's led to some incredible things. And I think if he does that to make an adjustment here, he's gonna recover.
Yeah, I think I definitely, like I said, have a lot of confidence. I think he's gonna get it back. Someone that I brought up to you as a potential, even a platoon, let's give him a day off to make adjustments, is Rob Refsnyder.
Yeah.
Because, dude, that guy's on a tear.
Rob Refsnyder's doing great. He played, I went and I looked, I was like, has Rob Refsnyder ever played first base?
I had mentioned, so the backstory, I had texted Bennett during the game that Refsnyder went 3 for 4 with a home run, which was like 3 days ago. And Casas was really struggling. We were texting, like, what should we do about Casas? And we kind of had the same discussion over text, but I was like, give him a day off and let Refsnyder play. And Bennett was like, save that craziness for the podcast. But I've looked this up too.
Yeah.
He has played
I
first
know.
base at the major league level and has actually done well in those games.
Yeah, he just hasn't done it since 2020.
Yeah, but at least it's
You
not
know.
like, just throwing some,
Yeah,
he's done it.
36 games between 2016 and 2020. Yeah, I think that's a better option than, say, I mean, Romy Gonzalez, I think, is the backup first baseman. I think
Definitely.
that's fine. I think it's better than, like, Connor Wong, who's played 14 games at first.
I hate the, like,
sucked at it.
I hate the whole, like, catcher to first base pipeline. People are like, oh, well,
Yeah,
Joe
why-
Mauer was good at it, but I'm like,
Why
dude,
is that a thing?
I think it's just, like, the blocking the ball.
Because you both have big mitts? Like,
I don't know. I mean, for me, like, when I was learning, like, the actual art of defensive first base,
Yeah.
like, your goal is to get on top of the ball and stop it from getting behind you. So picking is really important, but also if it's a tough one, then you have to just, like, eat it.
Yeah.
Similar to catching where, like, you have to block the ball. So I think it's a similar, like, mentality of just, like, this ball cannot get behind me.
Yeah.
Also, I think typically you don't have to run as far.
Mhm.
Because really the only running you have to do, like you can obviously dive in the hole, but second base is shading over toward right field a little bit more than shortstop is into left, and also you just have to run in the bag or flip it to the pitcher. It's not like a huge rangy position. I also think typically first basemen are bigger guys.
Yeah.
It's a bigger target to throw to, and a lot of catchers are bigger dudes, so that's usually the pipeline. Connor Wong is like the smallest catcher I've ever seen. He's
He
like
is
very
tiny.
small. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think he fits that mold. Steve Pierce was sort of an unusual first baseman. He was like he's shorter than me.
Yeah.
He's like 5'11". Like he wasn't a huge guy, but he was really good defensively over there.
Yeah. I think that, I mean, yeah, I can't think of like a twiggy first baseman.
Unless you're tall.
Yeah.
Like there were like big tall guys that were like 6'5" that played over there, but no, there's not many. I mean, I don't know. I guess that's what it is. But to me, and just to qualify the Ref Snyder thing, I'm not saying bench Casas for Ref Snyder. My point has always been to give him some time to make an adjustment, give him 2 or 3 days off and stick Ref Snyder over there or somebody else. Just give him a few days off and tell him, yo, we're giving you some time off, we're going to work you in the cages, let's get you some pinch hitting at bats.
Yeah.
Like, we're not benching you, you're not losing your job.
I think if this were, I'll phrase it this way. If this season was a movie, Alex Cora would go in, bring Casas into his office and say, hey, you're off for a couple days, go to the movies.
Yeah, seriously, go do something else.
Go do something that's not baseball and get your head out of there.
Oh, he said something else that it just popped into my head. Ah, fuck, it escaped. He had a great second quote about this is it. They asked him, because he was hitting cleanup for a while, now he's hitting 7th and 8th,
Yeah.
like he's kind of alternating. They're like, how do you feel about hitting at the end of the lineup? And he's like, I love it. It just gives me an opportunity to see more fastballs, guys are attacking me more, and like I get to work on stuff.
That's a good point.
He has a really good attitude. Like he does
Yeah.
not, he's not upset.
But also, I think that is really smart of him. I mean, that's smart of the Sox, like the Cora, to, move him there. I had not thought about that, but yeah, he would be getting pitched very differently.
Yeah.
With Devers with Bregman and Story kind of sandwiching him.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
You're just gonna see more fastballs, and like you want to work on your swing mechanics when you're seeing like his Achilles heel is these giant sweepers that he's swinging over the top of. So I think like let's hold out, let's give him more time to figure it out. If it gets to like mid-June and he's still hitting $145, then we have to have a different conversation, because at a certain point it is about the team. But like I hate. They do it in soccer too, like, oh, they crucify guys for having like a few bad games, and it's like, dude, it's just a little low patch, it's fine.
Yeah. Real quick, before we move on to pitching, I want to ask a non-baseball question.
Sure.
I was totally caught off guard yesterday when I found out that Andor is back for season 2.
I saw a billboard for that out of nowhere in Hollywood
out
Boulevard.
now. I've watched like
Is it
the
good?
first 2 episodes. Yeah,
I liked Andor the first season.
It's so funny how much better Andor is than
Any other Star Wars
has done in years. It's like actually, I don't know, the shots have depth to them. They're not all on the volume or whatever, and it's pretty, like, for Star Wars, it's like pretty adult. Like, it's kind of dark, And
Yeah.
I think in the present moment it's a little more real than I would like Star Wars to be.
Right.
But still,
Fair enough.
very good show. Also, you and Natasha should go see Sinners.
Oh, dude, everybody said it's really good.
Incredible.
I heard that's like the best picture already for next year. Everybody said it's so good.
Loved it. I don't do horror movies well at all.
I'm a big Michael B. Jordan guy, and I love Ryan Coogler.
There are 2 Michael B. Jordans in this movie.
There you go.
Yeah, it was great. The more I think about it, the more I love it. I gotta go back and see it now that I'm done being scared.
I'll probably look the plot up before so I know what to expect. But
and the music is just incredible.
That's what I've been told. It's really good. I mean, every Ryan Coogler film has good music in it.
I mean, Ludwig Göransson cooks.
Yeah, he's amazing.
He's fantastic. And getting into the music of the Mississippi Delta in the 30s.
Super cool.
So well done.
Did you ever watch Lovecraft Country? Have you ever seen that?
No, but I heard it was great.
Really good. It's Jonathan Majors.
Yeah. I don't love him, but I do.
He's kind of like,
heard that show's good.
He's like back now. I don't really know anything about that. I just remember all of a sudden I was like, uh-oh. But it's really good, and that also pays homage to like that era and that music. So I'll check it out though. I'll have to see Sinners.
I genuinely think Ryan Coogler might be.
He's the GOAT.
One of the GOATs.
Yeah, he's super good.
He hasn't missed yet.
Dude, I'll tell you this real quick too. So speaking of Stevie, the guy I released the song with, he was telling me the story. We were shooting a music video for the song. Like music video air quotes meaning content. But we were making a bunch of videos out and about, and he was telling me in the car, his buddy worked with Kendrick, and his friend said that apparently for Black Panther, that album that Kendrick made, which is like an incredible album for the movie, he was hired to make one song.
Yeah. Coogler was talking about this in an interview.
He was hired to make like one song, and he like 10 days later, he's like, here you go, here's like 15 songs.
I love that.
And it's like one of the best, like that should be a Grammy Award winning album.
Yeah, I think that's so cool.
Awesome.
To inspire, like of all other artists like Kendrick Lamar, like to inspire him to make an album, because that's not easy to do.
Dude, and the features he has on there are crazy.
They're amazing.
Like it's not like he just like sat in his bedroom and recorded over some beats. That's like a whole ass fucking project.
Yeah.
So
he also Coogler put out this 10-minute video where he explains the different film formats that they shot. Because they shot Sinners both in IMAX 70mm and then in like Ultra Panavision 65mm.
Yeah.
And he explains from 16mm to IMAX the differences of film format, what they're good for, and it's just a 10-minute video they just put out with Kodak for just.
Why the hell not?
Why not? And
super cool.
It's so cool. I love him so much.
He's amazing.
Yeah. Go see Sinners, guys.
On the baseball front, before we switch to pitching, one more very quick. We're trying to keep these episodes short. One more quick discussion: the catching situation.
Yeah.
I think Narvaez has the spot locked.
I agree.
Dude, he's really good. He's impressing me a lot.
He's fantastic. Again, kind of what I said with Campbell. I see just a maturity in him that I had to be reminded that he was a rookie. That he, I think, instills, and I think the important thing about catching, which by the way, I really loved how the clubhouse kind of spoke to this as well. The pitch calling between the relationship between catcher and pitcher. Being the catcher, like not only are you generally calling for whatever pitch to come next, but how a pitcher does is connected to how confident the catcher makes the guy on the mound feel, and I just can see the confidence from these guys on the mound when Narvaez is. Not that I haven't seen it with Wong. It's just that. I mean, it wasn't like a net negative that they weren't confident. It's just that they seem very comfortable with Narvaez behind the dish.
Yeah, and he's got that quick back pick to first base, which I really like. He's not afraid to let go of the ball. And his hitting is great.
Yeah, and again, like with a catcher, I don't need him. Like Connor Wong has a decent bat. I don't need my catcher to mash.
Connor Wong is a guy who could, like, if they give Devers an off day, just like DH. You know what I mean? Like he's got a good bat, but I mean we might be looking at a trade piece,
Yeah, and I kind of
because Sable is not a great backup. His throws are not great, but
no, I don't like Sable catching.
Yeah,
I don't think Wong would want to be backup catcher again, but I mean I think in terms of skill set, Narvaez is much better about also, trying to catch runners, and he's much better at just the mechanics of catching, like framing the things that Wong is just look at the numbers, he's just not good at.
Yeah.
I definitely, I would support Narvaez over Wong, and kind of thinking about it now, I remember at the time, they made the trade for Crochet with the White Sox, and we sent over Kyle Teal, who was one of our
big three, yeah.
But also a catcher, and the whole, up until that point, it was, oh, Kyle Teal is the future catcher of the Red Sox. Like, he'll replace Connor Wong. And then when he got traded over there, it was kind of, I think everyone kind of went, huh? Because, okay, well, now that Teal's gone, what is the future of the Red Sox catching position? Because he can't be Wong for, like, ever.
Right.
And it's funny that the next day, or maybe even the same day, the Garrett Crochet trade was immediately followed up by a trade with the Yankees for Carlos Narvaez for Elmer Rodriguez Cruz, I think was his name. A pitcher who's in the minor league system now. It was a trade for him. It flew under the radar. And I kind of remember looking at this guy and thinking to myself, oh, okay, so he's a pretty good defensive catcher, not a great hitter, hasn't really played in the majors. Weird trade, but okay. Craig Breslow, I see you cooking. That was smart, buddy.
I was talking to my dad about the documentary, and he was like, shout out Dad, he's definitely listening to this. He was saying that he really likes Craig Breslow a lot. Like, it shows him as such a good, like, he's really good at his job. You know what I mean? Like, he really gives a shit about this, and like, he's very thorough. I don't know. I'm very impressed with him.
I think the problems of the Red Sox organization aren't really ones that I would lay on. I mean, their communication, and I don't think that's him. Like, I wouldn't lay that on his feet. I'd lay that more at Sam Kennedy's feet. But I think in terms of, long term, I think Craig Breslow knows ball. The fact that he completely rebuilt our pitching program in a year is outstanding.
I think we should get Chaim Bloom to play first base.
He's with the Cardinals.
It's all right. We'll get him back.
Okay, so the bullpen. This is this the weakest part of the Red Sox roster?
Surprisingly, yeah. I did not think I think we talked about it at the beginning, going into the season, I didn't think this would be the case.
Yeah.
Garrett Crochet's wins-loss record, is enough to tell you that the bullpen is a problem.
I mean, I think we should say the back of the bullpen rules.
Yeah.
Slayton
and Chapman.
I
know. Dude, you know what, though? I'm like, damn, bring him out there, bro. I know he gave up a home run to freaking Benintendi, of all people. Yeah. He is, like, lights out.
Yeah, and Whitlock has been great.
Yep.
Slayton is just a monster.
Dude,
that
he is
disgusting.
Good.
And the way
he
yells at himself when he's on the mound, or like he's talking to himself, like psycho behavior,
yep.
So cool. So the back of our bullpen is great. It's the middle.
Yeah, it's
like,
tough.
I mean, luckily part of this problem gets solved because Zach Kelly just got sent down.
Yeah, he's been really, really tough. Weissert and Kelly have been struggling.
Yeah, Weissert's just like not locating his pitches well, especially.
This has been a problem for him though.
But he's also pitching that was bad. Okay. He's also pitching guys backwards. He's starting with his pitches that break, his sweepers, his sliders,
and then he has to catch up with the fastball.
In a 2-strike count, and that's like the worst place to put a fastball.
Yeah, because you have to home one. Yeah.
And it also has to be. I mean, you have to beat the bat, and that's just not gonna happen necessarily.
What does he throw? Like, what's his fastball velocity?
It's
like 94, 95. It's not, which is crazy because I was just watching a video about Greg Maddux the other day. That fool was throwing like 91.
Yeah.
Like, it's so funny how like 91 is so slow now.
His fastball velo is 93.5.
So that's like
pretty low end.
Which is 10 years ago that was fast. It's so crazy.
The average exit velocity off the bat for him is 88.4, which is
so people are seeing him well.
Yeah. So it's not.
Yeah, look at his barrel rate, 86th percentile.
Yeah.
He's getting smoked.
For the record, barrel rate is how often batters hit the ball
on the bat.
The hardest part of the bat. I want to talk briefly about Pedro Martinez tweeted about the bullpen.
Oh, I didn't see that.
And I know I was like, Pedro Martinez on Twitter.
Yeah.
He said the bullpen needs to look at themselves in the mirror and say, I am doing it. It's up to me. It's not up to the coach. It's not the GM. It's not up to the players around me. It's about me doing it. You have to want it, and you have to go and get it. Nobody's going to give you anything.
I mean,
like, hire Pedro Martinez as the bullpen coach because he's right.
Yeah, it's. I think there's a lot of like next man up mentality, which is good in some ways, and it's not in other ways. Like, I think because the back of our bullpen is so strong.
Yeah.
And like, dude, we're getting these guys in with like 4 or 5 run leads sometimes. Like,
Yeah.
we should not be blowing 4 run leads. That's just not.
Right. I mean, Zach Kelly drilled 2 people.
Yeah, I mean, that's not
like,
good.
Oh my god.
But I do think there's sort of this like, it's all right. Like, Chapman's got it. You know, like that's not.
Right. I do think part of this is, one of the goals going into this offseason was, even after getting Chapman, was one more bullpen guy. And we tried for, I think, Kirby Yates, we tried for Josh Scott. And I do think that piece that we didn't get in the offseason, that is currently what's hanging around us. I do think that's going to be it when we get to the deadline. I'm certain right now that when we get to the deadline at the end of July, the bullpen is going to be what we're trading for.
It seems to me that that's always the case. It's always like a couple bullpen pieces that separate the wild card from the division leader, the World Series winner from the team that crashes out in the ALCS. Like, think back to 2021. Ultimately, I mean, our bats went cold for sure, but also our bullpen. Ryan Brazier was like totally falling apart. Whitlock fell apart. Like it was like the guys at the back of the order. Look at Cleveland last year.
Yeah.
Their bullpen was lights out all season, and then in the postseason, that was what blew it for them.
Yeah, and so I do think that, and looking at the Red Sox system, I don't think we have a ton of great relievers in the.
A lot of starters.
And we have a lot of starters. The relievers that we have are fine, but they're not they're not guys that you want to anchor that bullpen around. I mean, Justin Wilson's been pretty good this year.
He's solid.
My expectations, but yeah, I think solid isn't quite what we need.
We really need one more Whitlock-esque. When I watch him pitch,
we need a Blake Trinan kind of guy.
You know what's crazy?
He's also on the injured list now.
Yeah, I went to the game with the guys from my team like 2 weeks ago. Bro, he's pitching in the 7th inning now.
Yeah.
But it's just like a weapon. It's like, go out, get 3-4 outs, he'll pitch a little bit into the 8th, and then he comes out.
Honestly, can we just make a trade with the Dodgers for one of their bullpen pieces? They have
if they don't have enough.
Yeah.
You know what's funny, too? I always forget that we almost got Brewstar Gratterall in the Mookie Betts trade.
I'm kind of glad that didn't.
He gets injured a lot, but he's good when he plays.
All the time.
He's good when he plays.
I think in LA where they don't have to worry about guys dropping their flies, it's fine. I think in Boston we eat them alive.
Yeah, I don't know though. I mean, I agree that when we're talking about is Yoshida going to get traded, what do we do with Connor Wong? Like these kind of guys, it's going to be for a bullpen arm. Or, I mean, I was watching MLB Network last night. I think a lot of MLB insiders think we're very seriously in on the Sandy Alcantara stuff.
I've seen that. I
don't know about that.
So, actually, that's a great transition into talking about our starting rotation. Because at the beginning of the season, I would have agreed. I would have been thinking, we don't need another starter. Our rotation is solid. I actually do think it wouldn't hurt to have. I mean, obviously, I don't think it would ever hurt to have Sandy Alcantara in our rotation. But I wouldn't be mad about prioritizing that as much as we're prioritizing the bullpen. Just because, our rotation's been good, but there have been issues. I mean, Tanner Houck.
He has not looked the same. He's not sharp.
Really concerned. He
had a good start on, Sunday?
So I noticed this, when he goes 6 innings or more, he pitches. His line is fantastic. He pitches well, the Red Sox win, he keeps runs down. If he gets jumped on early, he's not going to recover.
Yeah.
I think, his splitter and his sinker aren't really locating well, but he's giving up a lot of runs.
Yeah, his slider is the only pitch that's actually really effective. His fastball velocity's down. Yeah, he's not throwing his sinker very much.
Yeah, and obviously I think he's earned his spot on the big league roster. I don't think of optioning him as.
Oh, no, he's staying up.
I don't think moving him back to the bullpen is either, because that was a whole part of why he got hurt a lot.
Yeah.
Like Whitlock. But I do think, moving him to the back of the rotation, Buehler being the number 2.
Yeah, and when Fitz comes back, we have more people that can slide around,
So, Fitz is coming back soon. Giolito will be back in 2 weeks. He's starting his rehab assignment shortly. Brian Bayo just came back, and other than that first inning, which was terrifying, he recovered and he pitched well.
He had a bad first inning, but he got the ground ball. He threw good pitches to get the ground ball. And got it.
Oh, also, we got to talk about the double play.
Dude,
that double play was
sick.
Awesome. As soon as Costas fields it, I'm like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Because we're going to throw it away. We're going to make an error.
Dude, go watch Story's turn off of second. That's the part that no one had the camera on that. Like, everyone was just showing the throw.
Yeah.
His footwork, the throw was a little wide. His footwork to get the ball, keep his foot on the bag, spin to his glove side, and flip a perfect throw to first. Like,
yeah.
Dude.
And then Bayo coming in just with the stretch. I mean, he was like, I'll get injured again if I have to get this out. It was just great. It's awesome.
Dude, Bayo coming in with the Pedro Martinez hair.
Yeah.
Let's go, baby.
I love it. I love it so much. He and Pedro are close, and I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
And he does. I understand why people see similarities, although I think Pedro's a bit.
I mean, Pedro's like one of the best to ever do it.
Well, I think Pedro's just. I think his arsenal is different.
Actually, you know what's interesting? The changeup is Bayo's big pitch, and that was Martinez's big pitch too. Fastball changeup. It's just Bayo throws his breaking stuff's a lot different. But
yeah,
they're big fastball changeup guys.
But yeah, I loved that play. I was so thrilled. I really thought like Costas had thrown that fully away.
No, he did well, man. He did well.
Yeah, that was great. But so Bayo having Bayo back in the rotation is great. I love Hunter Dobbins.
Dude, he needs to stay up.
He needs to stay up.
So maybe he's the.
It's tough because it's like we have a lot of starters.
But maybe he's the Whitlock 2.0. You know what I mean? Like if I'm, how old is he? Oh, I ask that every week about somebody. How old is he? He's probably like 25, 26. Like he hasn't been around that long. To me, watching Hunter Dobbins, he reminds me of postseason 2018. 25. He reminds me of postseason 2018 Rick Porcello. The stuff, the curve, like the way he throws.
He has a great pitch mix.
Dude, he has like five
pitches.
really good pitches, yeah.
The range of, like, he has on average, a 75-mile-an-hour curveball and a 97-mile-an-hour fastball.
Bro, his curve is really good, too. Big, giant, hanging curve, but it dips right down under the knees. Like, he's... Yeah. So to me, that reminds me of Porcello a lot. And I remember 2018 Porcello being used in the 7th and 8th inning as kind of a long reliever. Like, maybe that's a simple fix. You bring Fitz back in, Giolito gets in the starting rotation, you can figure it out with Houck where you want to put him, and maybe Dobbins stays up with the big league club. If I'm him, and I'm pitching every 2-3 days, 2 or 3 innings, I'm stoked about it.
Yeah, I think the next time that Dobbins comes up, because he'll obviously come up again, he'll stay up. I really don't want to I would rather trade Dick Fitz than trade Dobbins. I
like him.
I'm buying high on Dobbins.
He reminds me of what role a better comp than Porcello. Did you ever keep up with Seth Lugo when he was with the Mets? He was a closer, but he's a starter now, but he would close and start in the 7th inning.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I could see, like a guy that can go through the order twice at the back end.
The thing is, I think Dobbins can go because he in both of his games he's gotten 5 innings.
Dude, yeah, he threw 6 in the last one.
I personally, I think you feel this way too. Like, I want to get back to the baseball where starters could throw complete games.
Yeah.
And where that's common. And I think Hunter Dobbins with his pitch mix and his versatility, I think that's very doable for him if they let him.
Core's I've been appreciating that he's been letting guys go 6 or 7. Like even Bayo the other day, he let him go the 5th inning, which I was really happy. He got him, he let him go out and do his work, which is really great.
Yeah, well, I think because he also knows, he's like, I can't keep Crochet. I can't put a leash on Crochet because he's Garrett Crochet. I can't put a leash on Walker Buehler because Buehler he's been around. He's a veteran. I gotta treat him like a veteran. I'm not gonna put a leash on him. So then it's like, you don't leash those 2 guys. You can't really leash the others.
No, 6, dude. We should be aiming for quality starts. 6 innings, 3 runs. Like that's. I don't give a shit about 10 strikeouts or going 9 innings with a shutout. Like 6 innings, 3 runs. Every single time, that's what you should shoot for.
Yeah.
Guys are like, fuck, I gave up a run. It's like, dude, if you give up 3 runs through 6 innings, you did your job.
Yeah. But so to work it out, so Crochet, Buehler, Houck, Bayo, Dobbins,
and then Fitz, Giolito.
That's 7 starting pitchers that are, at some point or another, going to be up and pitching for the Boston Red Sox.
So 2 of those guys are going to end up in the back end. They're going to be playing out of the bullpen.
Yeah, either the bullpen or we're going to move them, just trade them.
Yeah.
I don't know, but and especially if adding I still think, despite having those 7 guys, adding Sandy Alcantara would do nothing but help our rotation. So, what happens there? I'm not sure, but I think looking at the team where we're at now, things are going, I think, well, but there are kind of question marks because the lineup is crowded. The team needs at least, I think, one more high leverage reliever and maybe another starter.
Yeah.
Roman Anthony is just banging on the door.
Dude, that guy is smoking the ball.
He's got a higher barrel rate than Ohtani and Judge.
He's using the torpedo now.
I saw that.
Yeah.
So, I think looking at those three things, like, is there not a way we can kill three birds with one stone? I know that's not the saying, but
no, I mean there probably is.
I mean, I think we're talking about moving Yoshida for an arm. I think that gets on his own. I think that's hard. I think attaching, honestly, because Vaughn Grissom has been actually really good in AAA.
Yeah.
And so is honestly Mikey Romero. He's a middle infielder. We have so many middle infielders. We don't need.
Dude, it's a crazy problem to have.
Yeah, but I think it's like we gotta let's move them along because if the goal is to win now and not worry about future wins, then these guys should go.
Yeah.
We should move them. Also, I really think, I think David Hamilton's got a lot of skill. I want Roman Anthony up. I think demote Hamilton.
Probably. I mean, he's not really getting used.
Yeah, and then you bench Rafaela. You can cover the infield if he needs. I know that he's not as good at that as he is in the outfield, but Roman Anthony, I want his bat.
Well, also, our bats are heating up, but they haven't been great thus far, so you make a mild defensive sacrifice for a better bat.
And honestly, even if Roman Anthony comes up to the big leagues and he plays at a fraction of the level that he has been playing in Worcester this year and last year, I mean, we're so good.
Yeah.
That is, I'd be happy.
Yeah.
So I think there's nothing, and I think it would really bring a big shot in the arm to the. I mean, I think the players are already pretty stoked about themselves, but I think it would be even more energizing to have. I was gonna say baseball Jesus.
We'll take it.
Because he does have kind of a.
Dude, he's got the mane.
Roman Anthony's such a. I mean, Roman Anthony jerseys are just gonna be flying off the shelf.
Yeah, everyone's waiting for him.
But yeah,
he's 21, dude. He's so young. 20. He's super young.
I think. I mean, I don't. I mean, we're not. He's gonna come up for the All-Star break for sure.
Yeah,
I feel pretty confident about that. I don't know if the Red Sox are just waiting for someone to get hurt, which I hope that's not the strategy because it's a bad strategy.
Yeah.
I think tough calls need to be made, and I think.
I'm glad I don't manage a big league club. A good big league club. It's so easy when you're 5 and 20. You're like, oh, all right, we'll make some cuts. But
could manage that. Managing the Marlins is a little different.
Dude, stick me out there with Will Venable on the White Sox, man. I'll do a job.
The Marlins aren't letting their catchers call pitches anymore. They're getting their calls from the net, from the dugout, and then they have to relay them to the bullshit.
Bad.
Yeah. We will take a quick break and then we'll be right back with
Major League
News.
Bro, he's on fire.
I know. It's crazy that Judge was talking. Soto was talking about how he's getting pitched different when he was hitting. Ahead of Judge.
He's been heating up now, though.
Yeah. Okay, so welcome back. Major League News. Just a quick rundown. Things are heating up in the AL Central. The Guardians and the Tigers. I think. Actually, I wrote this outline.
I think the Tigers are currently. They lost yesterday, so I think they're ahead in the wild card
by half a game over the Guardians.
Okay.
And then the NL East is kind of full of surprises because I know the Mets were going to be good, but I didn't.
Braves.
They're going to be 18-7. The Braves are as bad as the Nats.
Yeah.
What do we think about that?
I actually think the Nats are kind of good. I think that the Nats, going into the season, I knew that people would forget about them, and I knew they would be better than
they are sneaky good.
Bro, their pitching is fucking great.
Mackenzie Gore is...
Dude, what's good with that guy?
It's probably a little early, but Cy Young votes at least.
Yeah, no, he looks great.
Filthy. And, you can tell that the Nats are kind of, I think, toward the tail end of their rebuild. I would say...
Yeah, I think so.
Probably, I think they're where we were in 23, maybe where we were last year.
Yeah.
A year or two away from being contenders, and I think when they're contending, I think they're going to be really filthy. But the Braves, I don't know. I mean, Strider just went down with another injury.
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
Yeah, I am surprised. They're 10-14, right?
Mhm.
So I can't say I'm that surprised because that division is just so competitive that like 10-14 is still early. Like we said last time, it's still early. If they were like White Sox level, I'd be like, oh shit. But that extra 4 or 5 wins they have on them makes a difference.
Yeah.
But they had 2 marquee guys injured, and I think if you look at the teams that they've played, they started the season with like a crazy run of games. They had San Diego, Los Angeles, like
Yeah.
So it's still too early to count them out, in my opinion. But I think that people pick them to win the division. I don't think that's gonna happen.
I think I'm a little colder than you are. I mean, for one thing, I think the teams that they have failed to beat thus far, like the Padres and the Dodgers, are teams that they're going to have to be able to beat to make the playoffs.
No, I think that they've proven they're not looking at it. To me, it doesn't look like they're a World Series team right now.
But I think I think that the Braves could turn it around to a degree. I don't think they turn it around enough in this National League.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
It's just there's no room. Like
their division alone is tough.
Go
let
look at
alone
the
NL itself.
Go look at the NL West. Like 4 out of the 5 teams that play over there could make the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean the fact that we're even considering that like the Diamondbacks or I can't speak. The Giants, the Diamondbacks or the Giants, like are gonna get one of them is not gonna make the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
The Cubs and the Brewers in the Central. Cubs, by the way, are incredible.
Yeah, they're on fire. Did you see that game last night?
Oh my god.
Crazy.
I almost texted because I'm friends with Melissa, who does talk Dodgers to me, and their producer Adam is a Cubs fan, and they have like this fun rivalry on the show. I almost texted her just to be like, I think
what happened? Yeah.
The baseball gods are like, you can have a Dodger show, but Adam gets to be happy when the Cubs play.
The game I went to last week was the Cubs, and I saw Pete Crow Armstrong hit 2 dingers.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So I mean, I love the Cubbies just because I honestly aesthetic.
Yeah.
I love their unis. I love the.
You know what I don't like though?
Wrigley.
I gotta say, they need to keep Kyle Tucker.
No, they absolutely need to.
Do the right thing.
I think the Cubs, as an organization, they're where we were last year. And so I think
a little better, but yeah.
A little better. I mean, actually, yeah, a lot better. But similarly, I think they understand that the window is open. It's time to spend money and it's time to make moves. I think they know that it would be too stupid for them to not re-sign Kyle Tucker.
I would think so.
Because then also that trade for Kyle Tucker is you traded Isaac Paredes and I forget who else for 1 year of Kyle Tucker.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bad trade.
Yeah, and Ryan Presley. But you know what's Kyle Tucker is he's not going to be in the Hall of Fame, but like he's going to be one of those guys that's like the top tier of the Hall of Very Good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a better than, but similar to a Kenny Lofton. A guy who plays like 15, 16 years, is always a consistent hitter, hits a good amount of home runs, gets on base a lot. You can't let that go.
Yeah. And the Cubs fans deserve.
Dude, get a jersey seller. Get a fucking guy who sells a lot of jerseys. Like, get your Kyle Tucker jersey, man. When they were, the Cubs when they were winning the World Series, they had like 4 guys. They had freaking
Schwarber, Rizzo, Bryant,
Baez at his best. Yeah.
Addison Russell before he hit a woman.
He was horrible. I mean, it was like
just annoying.
Jason Hayward, Dexter Fowler.
Yeah.
Bro, they had guys like John Lester.
Did you already say we said Hayward?
Yeah. Hayward's still in the league.
Yeah. Dude, you know what I was thinking about on the Cubs the other day? Because I was watching, this is so fucking nerdy of me, I was watching old episodes of Baseball Tonight.
Nice.
Which I missed that show.
Yeah.
ESPN.
Yeah.
Shit about baseball. But Carlos Zambrano. I miss that guy.
Bro, he's a slugger.
That guy was, he was filthy and he was angry.
Yeah, man. Him and Lou Piniella was a fun.
Oh my god,
tandem.
fun.
Bro, those Cubs teams, like Derek Lee and Aramis Ramirez, like those teams were good, you know.
Yeah. But
I don't know. The Braves, just to close the loop on that, like I don't know what's going on, but it sucks that Strider's hurt again.
Yeah.
Strider's legs look like tree trunks. Do you see that picture that's going viral? Like his legs are gigantic. He must be squatting like 550 or more. It's crazy.
And so that's why his hamstring.
I don't know. Maybe lay off the weights, brother.
I'll have to take a look after this, but yeah, I mean, I think between the Phillies and the Mets, the Cubs and the Brewers,
and the whole NL West,
4 teams in the NL West, like that's
Rockies, yeah.
that's already 8 teams vying for 6 spots. I just don't think the Braves, unless they do something miraculous, I don't think that they get in.
Probably not. I mean, again, the fact that we're talking about the Giants or the Diamondbacks as a team that does not make the postseason is insane. Like, those teams look like they could win the World Series right now, you know?
Right. While we're on the subject of the Braves, you want to talk about this whole, like, Ronald Acuna Jr.?
Yeah, I was going to ask you what you think about all that.
Snicker.
Do you want to fill everyone in? Like, that's kind of a big topic.
So, earlier in the week, I guess over the weekend, I forget which day, but during a Braves game, Jared Kelenic hit a ball that he thought was going to be a home run, and so he didn't really run it out, and he got thrown out at second base.
Yeah.
Didn't hustle after the ball, and then he, still stayed in the game, but Ronald Acuna Jr., who is out currently with an injury, tweeted, "If that were me, they would have pulled me from the game." Which is true, because that
did happen. It did happen.
In 2019, Acuna did not hustle out a ball that he thought was gone that wasn't.
Yes.
And Brian Snicker, the manager, sat him. He did that with Ozuna as well, and I think one other guy.
Ozuna from the Braves, man.
And I think with one other guy. But when asked about Kelenic after the game, Snicker was like, "Why would I?" He kind of in a weird way played dumb, but was just said, "I didn't feel the need to do that." So I think this has raised, I think, less controversy than I expected, which I think is good, because I think for a second there, I was really worried the tempers were going to flare. I thought this was going to be I thought, initially looking at the story, that we were going to have a lot of, like, heavy conversations about, honestly, like, race, and I do think that's probably part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Kelenic and Snicker are white, but Acuna Jr. and Ozuna are not.
Yeah.
But I think ultimately this is a story that it seems to be mostly about, just, I guess, being treated fairly, about, like, the unwritten rules of baseball,
right.
Like how you get treated for hustling out a ball or not, whether or not there's a double standard. And
I think there is, because I remember the Acuna situation. I remember it was discussed on a bunch of podcasts I was listening to.
Yeah.
It's one of those things, some teams enforce it, some teams don't.
Yeah.
Like, there's guys, like, I've seen Machado fucking get singles out of balls that he hit, and, like, no one cares. Manny Ramirez used to do it all the time, right?
Yeah.
Why? It's the same manager, it's the same organization, it's the same guys on the team. Kelenic is new, but
yeah,
it's just, it looks bad.
Yeah,
and it definitely looks like a double standard. I think it's a discussion that needs to be had. I definitely think people are brushing off, "Oh, Acuna's making a big deal." Like, no, I definitely think this is something that needs to be discussed.
I mean, I don't know, actually. I'm not going to say that I don't think. I don't know if tweeting about it was the right thing to do.
I would have kept it in-house.
I think it's like a private kind of conversation, but I understand why he feels the way that he does, and I probably would be a little annoyed too. I also think that, it's also, there's the fact that Acuna is the, star player, face of the Braves.
That was my next point.
Kelenoc's a younger guy.
Kelenic hasn't been that good, to be honest. I mean, I think that that was my final take that I was going to say, is I do think that there's a point of, like, we make an example out of the bigger guys. Like,
yeah.
But,
okay, yeah, this is what I imagine the budget's going to be.
If you make an example out of the bigger guys, it's kind of a double-edged sword, right? Because, A, you can't do that. You can't, like, piss off the bigger guys and be like, I'm going to hold... It's like you said with the leash thing, pitching, right? Mm-hmm. You can't be like, well, Crochet and Bueller, there's no leash for you, but Houck, if you have one bad inning, you're out. Like, that's not setting up the organization to be successful. You can't have different rules with different players.
Yeah. And I think that's exactly right, because if you're setting an example with the big players, and then you don't
enforce it with the little guy. Why are you setting an example in the first place?
Then you're just punishing the big players for being big.
And that's, dude, so this is where it comes into the final. Remember, we talked about this a few weeks ago, the Ian Kinsler comment about Latin players? He's like, oh, they're too flashy. I definitely think, and I'm not making any statement, but I definitely think that, like, there's this opinion of Latin players, like, oh, they're flashy and they don't give a shit and it's all about that. And, like, this, again, not saying that that's what this is, but it doesn't look good. You know, if you're benching someone who's like, I don't know, I just think you got to have the same rules with everybody. You got to treat everybody the same on a baseball team. And it follows up sort of a history that the game has of punishing specifically Latin American players for playing the game a certain type of way, which isn't really a problem. It's like, okay, if you got a single instead of a double, whoops, sucks, you know?
Yeah. And I would say, like, I think if you're a batter and you pimp a home run, or you stand and you look at the ball as it goes, it better fucking go.
Sure.
If it doesn't and you're wrong and you make a fool out of yourself, you get either just a single or you get thrown out of second. I think regardless of whether you're Aaron Judge making $50 million or you're a new guy making $800K, like, you sit. Like that,
yeah,
you can't do
if
that.
That's what the club does, then that's totally fine.
You can strut, you can flaunt, you can do whatever you want, but you better be good.
Yeah. It's funny because I just made the decision with my own, like, whenever I played, that, like, I will never pimp a home run for that reason. Because I'm just like, I've hit balls that are, like, way out and I still run to first because I'm just like, fuck, I don't want to get embarrassed. But, like, I don't know. I just think that everyone on the team has to be set to the same standard. And here's the other thing that I saw this Braves fan tweeting about. He was like, well, the reason they didn't bench Kelenic is because there was no backup for him that was serviceable. And I don't believe that. That was the, like,
you're telling me no one else can play the outfield?
Well, because they had injured, like, Acuna's injured, and they just lost, what's his name, Profar for the steroids.
Yeah.
So they were like, well, that's why. And I sure, but, like...
But then punish Kelenic another way.
Fine him.
Yeah.
Take, $1,000 off his paycheck. Like, I don't know.
And it sounds like I'm, like, coming down really hard on Kelenic. I don't think what he did is that big a deal, but I do think it's bad if he faces no consequences and other players have consequences.
Right, and, like, your face of the franchise fucking best player that you've had since Chipper Jones is getting punished. Yeah.
It's like, oh, he feels bad, like, great, but that's...
Yeah.
I'm sure Acuna felt bad.
Just for the sake of time, let's jump into the Max Fried thing.
Oh, this was so interesting.
So Max Fried had a no-hitter, and he came out for the 8th inning. He was no-hit through 7. He came out for the 8th inning and found out that a ground ball that had been hit to Goldschmidt at first, which was botched, had been retroactively changed to a hit.
Yeah.
So I went through and watched like 50 other similar calls from this year. MLB Network did a segment, John Boy did a segment, and I went and watched the whole clip themselves. I do think it's a hit.
Oh, okay.
I do think it's a hit. I do not think that play is getting made. Because I saw a really, really interesting I love reading people's comments, because sometimes YouTube comments range from, like, amazing scientific breakdowns of situations to just, like, unnecessary racial epithets that, like, don't need to be there. But the scientific breakdowns are great. So the reason that this exact play is the reason why teams prefer the competitive advantage of a left-handed first baseman over a right-hander. The ball shifting over, he tried to stay in front. People watching will see me, and people listening won't. But the ball got hit to the right side of Goldschmidt, who's a right-handed player, so the glove's on his left side. He didn't backhand the ball. He tried to get in front of the ball, and it hit the heel of his glove and kicked off to the right. A lefty simply has to open up to his glove side, make a glove side turn, and throw. The turn, if you don't backhand that ball, which he didn't, the fielding position, the shift back onto your foot to get behind that ball and make the throw is much more uncomfortable with a right-handed first baseman. I don't think he's making that play.
Also, I mean, I forget who the batter was, but he was fast.
He was burning. It was I can't remember.
Was it Matt Ming?
I don't know, but he was burning down the line.
Yeah.
I think it's hard because it's like a no-hitter. You're like, are you really going to end the game on that? But the rule is you can't pad the stats. You do have to make an honest assessment of the play. And to be honest, if that happened to the Red Sox, I would look at it objectively, albeit a week later. I'd be pissed for a week, and then I'd look at it a week later and be like, he's probably not making that play.
I think the thing that's weird about it is that Fried got on the mound, was throwing a no-hitter, and then before he even gave up that, I guess, what is now the second hit.
Right.
He lost the no-hitter and didn't even know. I think it's weird that just two innings had passed.
Yeah.
I guess that's the part that's weird to me. I'm surprised that it took a scorekeeper
That was my other.
that long to
I
figure
don't
it
think
out.
they should be allowed to do that. Did you know that they have up to a week to change?
Yeah, I don't think that should
That's
be
bullshit. I don't think you can do that.
I also think that there's a larger conversation to be had. I don't know if now is the time to have it, about errors and how errors are scored in baseball.
Yeah.
Because The Athletic wrote a really great article, I think like a year ago, that I read about how scorekeepers are much more lenient about what constitutes an error now,
Yes.
and it's fucking with pitchers' stats.
Yes. And you know what else, by the way? I have a problem with errors just as a whole, and I always have. Did you know if you reach on an error, I mean, you probably do know this, most people who are casual baseball fans won't. It hurts your on-base percentage, obviously it hurts your batting average. It doesn't count in any way, it's literally an out, it's the same as striking out.
That's
If you
So
smack a ground ball, if you fucking hit one on the screws right to the shortstop, and it's hit like 115 miles an hour and he butchers it because it's smoked, and it's an error, you do not get you don't get an on-base percentage. If a run scores, you don't get the RBI.
So I think I'm going to disagree with you on this.
Interesting.
I think it should not count toward your average. I don't think it should count toward
I don't think it should count toward your batting average.
I don't think it should count toward RBIs either. I do think it should count toward your
On-base percentage.
It absolutely. On base is the only thing I think should count.
That's fine with me, but it shouldn't. Why is reaching on an error the same caliber as striking out? Like, you get no benefit, and if you, we've seen errors that are scored, like you said, that it's kind of like up in the air, like what really is an error, bro. I've literally seen people smoke balls that are backhanded plays that get called errors, and then the guy's like, "What the fuck?" So now I'm 0 for 4 and I just crushed one. Why is that's ridiculous? You know?
Yeah, I mean, I think.
There's no benefit.
Yeah, I don't. I feel like the standard for what is an error should be a little clearer than it is currently.
Yeah, it's just like the fielder has to make a legitimate effort for the ball and misplay it. It's a judgment call.
Yeah, or also just like kind of whatever the scorekeeper thinks.
Yeah, I've seen like fly balls that don't get touched scored as errors. It doesn't make sense. In a game that's dominated by pitching right now, and in a game where offense is what brings viewers in, we should be incentivizing people to put the ball in play more.
Yeah.
If there's even a mild statistical increase from hitting the ball more, like, you know, a lot of guys don't even take a two-strike approach anymore, so like, fuck it, I'm just trying to hit a tank. Like, if you're mildly more incentivized to just put the ball in play, and oh great, I got a little bump in my on-base percentage, you know, treat it like a single in the on-base percentage, that's fine, or a walk.
Yeah.
So, anyway, that's just my 2 cents.
Real quick, do you want to talk about Jazz Chisholm?
Yeah, let's do super fast.
So Chisholm was suspended for a game. He's appealed the decision because he got
tweeted.
Yeah, he got ejected because he argued a strike 3 call.
Which was not a strike, by the way.
And then he went into the clubhouse and tweeted immediately, like during the game. And Major League Baseball has a rule that players can't use social media during games. So he was suspended for a day.
I mean, look, he broke the rule.
Yeah.
So fine, suspend. I think that's fine. I think it's a stupid ass fucking rule. I think if you're like live tweeting a game, like there should be like.
I think live tweeting a game would actually do kind
Bro, that'd be
of getting
sick,
people's
bro.
attention.
Imagine being live on Instagram during the game. That'd be tight.
I also do wonder if that would lend credence to the idiots who are like baseball's not a sport.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I don't know. He broke the rule.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I do think I wonder because I think it got kind of covered by the fact that there's a rule about being on social media during a game.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like so if he had tweeted after the game, it would have been okay. Because I'm actually okay with that. I think if we start publicly calling out umpires for being shitty.
So this was the point. I was going to say, it's so funny that it takes bad umpires for me to to agree with the Yankees.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, yeah, it's a bad fucking call. Fuck them. Like,
No.
I hate the Yankees.
I think
I'm like, yep, fine.
Yeah, umpires, be better at your job.
Like, they're horrible.
You're about to get replaced by robots.
Who was the guy behind the plate for us yesterday? He was horrible. Oh my word. Yeah. So fine with me, bro. I'd be going after it. Another Ian Kinslerism that I think is fun. The first one I didn't like. This one I do like. There's a video of him with Angel Hernandez where he's like in the clubhouse, and he apparently had like an interview. He's like, Angel Hernandez is the worst umpire in baseball. He's terrible. And apparently, like, Angel went up to him and like shook his hand the next game or something, and they asked him about it in the clubhouse, and they were like, "So, did like you and Angel break the ice? Like, is everything cool now?" And he's like, "No." He's like, he's still terrible. Like, it's just funny.
Sure, it's like, oh, hey, perfectly nice guy, sucks at umpiring.
Yeah, terrible.
Yeah. The last thing I wanted to bring up was I saw on Instagram last night. I was just like doom scrolling this account.
Frank Michael Smith, dude,
yeah.
we're friends. He's my buddy.
Oh, he's your
I
buddy?
gave him singing lessons. Yeah,
I didn't know that. Okay.
I'll text him that we're putting him on the show. That's my boy.
So, well, that's probably good for us.
Yeah.
Big
Pittsburgh fan.
I saw his clip on the I guess the La Flamel shift or La Flame.
Yeah.
It's this weird shift that I guess someone else wrote about that he was doing a video on. Basically, depending on where the batter is more likely to hit the ball, either left field or right field, you switch your best defender for your best corner outfielder for your weakest corner outfielder.
Interesting.
Something like this, a shift like this, wouldn't be useful to the Red Sox in Fenway Park because we don't have a weaker defender, and the dimensions of Fenway just like wouldn't be cooperative to this method. But he claims in the video that it would add 3 to 3.5 wins to a team, and I have my doubts about that.
I think it's too. Baseball is hard because, like you said, the ballpark factor itself makes it different. I don't think you can really quantify a number that's like a universal. Maybe in some cases, but I would probably not. I'd take the under on that for sure.
Yeah, it's just like it's an interesting strategy. It's an interesting idea.
It's cool. I think it's definitely really interesting.
It's on paper, like initially hearing it, I'm like, that's actually a really cool idea. Why hasn't no one thought about that? And the more I think about it, I'm like, well, I don't know actually. There are a lot of things, like ballpark factor, the fact that I don't think players are going to want to run across the outfield back and forth.
It is interesting, though, to consider it. I mean, it's definitely...
Yeah. I mean, we kind of did something similar in 2018 during the World Series, where we were just moving our entire outfield around.
Yeah, and there's... I've seen people do, like, the next inning, they'll switch right and left fielders, because there's more lefties coming up or something.
But during a game, I've never really...
Nah, I don't think that's...
I think it's allowed, but I've never seen it before.
It's just a cool thought. Should we do the quick rose and thorn and then jump off here?
Oh my god, yeah. Which, funny enough, I meant to take one of the roses out of the courtyard at my place here, but yeah, you go first.
I've got two really fun... I always try to keep my non-Red Sox just to give some perspective shift. My thorn, Jorge Lopez. What is you doing, baby? Threw, in my opinion, intentionally at Andrew McCutchen's head, and I don't remember who was hitting before him, another Pirates player. The quick backstory is Jorge Lopez last year, I think he was on Miami. He was facing the Pirates, these same two hitters. Let me look up who it was. But he threw...
No, he was with the Cubs.
Okay, he's with the Cubs. He faced McCutchen, and McCutchen took him deep. And then he faced this other hitter, and this other hitter took him deep.
Reynolds,
that's who it is, right. Ryan Reynolds and Andrew McCutchen. So they took him deep. This year, on the Nats, the game before, so now he's with the Nationals. Nationals played Pittsburgh this weekend. On the Nationals, the game before, DeYoung was hit in the face with a fastball unintentionally, broke his nose. Really horrible. It was horrible. Like his bleeding everywhere was terrible. So Lopez gets up, gets 2 outs, loads the bases. Up steps Reynolds, throws at him, first pitch, hits him. Run comes in. Could look accidental, he just loaded the bases. You're like, okay, not great. McCutchen comes up, he throws 3 perfect pitches. There's 2 perfect sliders in the zone and then a high fastball trying to get him to chase, doesn't chase. Throws a fucking 95-mile-an-hour fastball at his head.
Yeah.
Bro. And he's like, oh, that shit's not into... He didn't... And the thing is, if you watch his face, you can tell when a pitcher fucks up. And they're like, oh, my bad. He had no reaction.
Yeah.
0 reaction. And he also has a history of throwing at guys intentionally.
Yeah.
Come on. What the fuck are you doing, bro?
Yeah. Also, like, I mean, I don't love throwing at batters intentionally, but
at their head?
The rule of thumb is also if you're gonna intentionally drill
Don't
somebody,
their head.
No, you do it first pitch.
Yeah, that's so.
Like you don't work the at bat and then drill.
Dave Martinez came out. Who's the Pirates manager? I don't remember.
Oh, Shelton.
Shelton. He came out and literally said, "Throw that shit first pitch." That's what he said.
Yeah. Like that's what you do.
But best part. So he gets. He got kicked out of the game.
Yeah.
Booed, and he got suspended for 3 games. Next pitcher comes in, walks McCutchen. Next pitch, O'Neal Cruz grand slam.
Yeah.
You gotta love that. You gotta love it, and then the game's over. So Jorge Lopez, clean it up, bro. Don't do that shit. My rose is another, weirdly, I'm bringing up the former Cubs guys, Javier Baez, who is currently brought his OPS. Last year he finished with like a 63 OPS plus. He's up to a 95. His barrel rate is up 35%.
Oh, okay.
Apparently, he's made a lot of adjustments in the offseason, and he's swinging.
Stop swinging at junk?
Well, he's swinging about 10 miles an hour slower. So he's not trying to crush the ball anymore. And he's actually hitting a pretty serviceable 6-7 in the order hitter.
Yeah.
So you love to see that. You love to see guys just like slowly getting back to where they used to be. So keep it up.
Cool. I'm going to go ahead and give my rose to the... I guess, I always forget that on Patriots Day, the Red Sox wear jerseys that say Boston, like Red Sox jerseys that say Boston. I like those more than the City Connect uniforms that say Boston. They should just wear those instead. Rose to those because I always like to see them. It makes me happy.
Cool.
It reminds me of that dope-ass David Ortiz speech.
So fucking
Thorn, Steinbrenner Field. Again, this is the second time I'm getting you a Thorn.
Huge bummer.
Why are your foul pole signs so short?
It's such a huge bummer.
Aaron Judge, granted, Aaron Judge is like going to hit 50 more home runs, so he's probably like, yeah, you can have that one. Still, he got robbed of a home run because this stupid pole is not tall enough.
Yeah, it's a huge bummer, man. Watching the games there sucks.
It's terrible.
Fun thing I just looked up, apparently McCutcheon came out and said he does not think it was intentional.
I
don't really
he's
care
the guy who got dragged, so sure, but like it's weird when the guy who hits people.
Well, then you know what? Even if it wasn't intentional, bro, you can't be hitting two people in the same inning. So there you go.
Yeah, be better at your job. Don't drill guys like that.
Anyway.
Okay, cool. But by the time you guys are watching this, we're gonna be playing Cleveland for a
big
weekend
series.
Yeah, it's gonna be it's gonna be tough. It's and then we're gonna have a day off on Monday, and then have a 3-game set in Toronto.
Another big series.
Yeah, so
tough couple weeks.
Hopefully it's gonna be fun though. That's our show. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Remember, you can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, YouTube, and we're also on Instagram
and Substack.
And subscribe to our Substack. I gotta be better at saying that. It's notfromboston.substack.com.
See you guys soon.
Peace.